What's going on, everyone? It's Jason, and I'm going to do my week 1 early analysis here for Draftkings Millionaire Maker. And I'm going to talk about wide receivers in this video. And we'll start at the top. Antoniou Brown. 8,600 is certainly cheap for Antoniou Brown. I like it in tournaments. I think now looking at that price, I'm like, well, his ownership's going to be a little bit inflated. So keep that in mind, but we'll see how it goes, because I think you're going to have some other receivers in good spots that have some ownership too, so it may not be as high as you would think. Hopkins is going to take a lot of that ownership, I think, with Houston. His usage is always massive. It's just him and Fuller there, and that's where Watson's going to look to get the ball to. Definitely someone you got to look at. It's just, as I said, I don't know if this game ends up being as much of a shootout. And even if it doesn't, Hopkins can still get his. He's proven that. Even when the game goes low scoring, he can pop 30 fantasy points on you. So I would not ignore him. Definitely somebody I would look to include in my lineups. I'm a little weary, and I'm not against pivoting to some of these other guys here. Michael Thomas against Tampa Bay. I think he's going to have some ownership too. It's a great matchup. We talked about this one already. The only issue I think with him is that Brees has other options. He's got Cam Meredith in there. He's got Ted Ginn. He's got Ben Watson. He's got Kamara out of the backfield. So definitely that would be my concern, is that the ball just goes elsewhere. Tampa Bay tries to stop Michael Thomas, and they go, Brees just decides to go elsewhere. So that'd be my concern there. The one I love here next, Keenan Allen. They can try all they want. They're not going to stop him. Kansas City's defense is terrible. And Rivers is going to look to him often. So it's 7,500. It's just such an obvious play for me that I have to have a lot of Keenan Allen. Probably my favorite of this top group right there. And got to play some Keenan Allen. A.J. Green against Indianapolis. A.J. Green's looking really good. And when A.J. Green has other options out there that they can throw to, you can't just contain him. Indianapolis defense really can't contain anybody, at least on the secondary. So A.J. Green's looking for a huge day here in the Dome in Indianapolis. And he seems to have better numbers on the road, at least in the full scope of his career. A.J. Green, fantastic play. Like him almost as much as Keenan Allen. Odell. Here's the one. Okay, 7,000, and everyone's like, "Oh, Jacksonville's just shut down defense." Anyone see what the Steelers did to their defense? Anyone see what the Patriots did, or the 49ers? The defense is clearly beatable if they can somehow get him off of those two shut-down corners, Boye and Ramsey, and they get him in the slot, and they get him on some crossing routes and some slants and stuff like that. And he can take it to the house. I mean, Odell, even on those corners, he can beat some of the best corners in the league. And if nobody's playing him, and if everyone's scared off of Odell Beckham, and he's only 7,000, I gotta have some there. I gotta have, and I think that could be the play to win GPP or the Millionaire Maker. Odell Beckham, one of my favorite sneaky plays, because I think everyone's going to be scared, and I don't think there's a reason to be scared. Adam Thielen against the 49ers is obvious. Gotta have some there. The Niners ain't going to stop him. Only concern is I don't think the Niners are going to be able to keep up with Minnesota in this game. T.Y. Hilton, another one. It's not a great matchup. I'm not as high on it as these other ones, but we pretty much know that Andrew Luck, is going to look his way a lot. So definitely someone I'll go to there. Mike Evans, Tampa Bay, no, not with Fitztragic in there. I'm good. Fitzgerald, still going to get a lot of the targets there. I just think that this matchups are rather limited. And just now kind of looking at it, seeing how these other receivers are in great spots, I don't know that I want to go Fitzgerald, but I wouldn't be totally against it. Tyreek Hill, he had 2 games against the Chargers last year. He put up solid points, but that was with Alex Smith. That wasn't with Mahomes. So I don't know if he's going to have that same rapport with Mahomes, especially right off the bat. So I may not be going there. Diggs against San Francisco, I feel the same way as I do about Thielen. I got to have some there. It's just going to be, he could drop 30 or 40 fantasy points in this game. Doug Baldwin, he's hurt, and he's going up against Denver. It's maybe not as great as they were a couple years ago, but on the secondary side. But with that pass rush, I think there's going to be problems. I'm not really on Doug Baldwin in this spot. Chris Hogan, really, like, you're kind of running into default. Like, Brady, this might be the only guy you trust out there, at least in the receiving core. So he might be looking his way a lot. And that's something to be looking at is Hogan may get quite a bit of volume here. And 6,100, definitely look that way. Edelman's out. Juju Smith-Schuster against Cleveland. Had a really good game, that second one against Cleveland. Something to look at as well. Very cheap. And he could give you some wide receiver numbers there. Josh Gordon, if he's back, 5,800. He's worth a look. We'll see. He might be a little rusty coming, having no camp and everything, but worth a look. Demaryius Thomas, way underpriced at 5,700. My only concern here is in this game is I think it's going to play a little bit slow. It just kind of have that vision of this game being dragging really slow, and I think Denver is just going to try to win it with their defense and conservative play on offense. So definitely the price is there, especially because the price is there. Like he has Trevor Siemian at quarterback, and he's got an upgrade with Case Keenan. There's no doubt about that. Corey Davis, Tennessee, Miami. He's dealing with injuries again. I'm not really going there. Jarvis Landry, he's got the volume. It's the same kind of situation last year. I just don't know that, especially if Gordon's back and if they got some other weapons, I don't know that they have to go to him every play, although Tyrod seems to really like going to him. So something to monitor. It's a nice cash play. I don't know that it has like that huge ceiling for a tournament like we're looking for. Crabtree, Baltimore, Buffalo. I wonder. If I'm playing a Flacco stack, I'm definitely going to throw some Crabtree in there. He's definitely proved to be solid, especially with the Raiders. He had one game last year where he had 3 touchdowns. So something to watch. But, not one of my favorite plays. Devontae Parker, no. Devin Funchess against Dallas, not really going there. Fuller against New England, my goodness, that price is just so cheap at 5,100. Fuller gets a couple big plays. He could just smoke that salary. I think like I said, I don't think this game is as high scoring as people think, but Fuller could easily meet that value if he gets a touchdown or two. Sammy Watkins, not the spot I'm going to be looking at Sammy Watkins. There might be some spots this year. I think he has better upside than he did last year with the Rams. They just seem to be using him more in the passing game for Kansas City than the Rams did last year. Kelvin Benjamin against Baltimore, no. Sanders, it's an even better spot than a Demaryius because I think Sanders will be in the slot a lot, and that's 5,000. That's just even better value than DT. So I think if I'm taking one of the receivers for Denver, it's probably going to be Emmanuel Sanders. Just too cheap against this horrid Seattle defense. They're still pricing like it's good, and they're still pricing Sanders like he's got a bad quarterback, and he doesn't. So definitely a good value, someone you want to have some exposure to. Crowder, I'm not going there. Marquise Lee, not going there. Just the limited ceiling, I think, Marquise Lee. He can have a decent game, but limited ceiling. Garcon against Minnesota, no thank you. Rashard Matthews, no thank you. Kenny Stills, he had a couple of bomb games last year. But I'm just not going to go against Tennessee in this spot. Allen Hurns, if he is the clear-cut wide receiver one, he's worth a shot at 4,700. I just don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game. Deshaun Jackson, Tampa Bay, New Orleans, probably not with its magic. Goodwin, no. Shepard, no. I'm more interested in Odell being explosive in that game. Doxson, no. Cam Meredith, intriguing. Let's see if he can get back and get healthy. Ted Ginn, probably one of my sneakier plays, too. I love, Ted Ginn just has those games where he gets those one or two 70, 80-yard touchdowns. Oh, he can just smash value and win you a tournament. Who else do we got? Tyler Lockett's interesting. If there's no Doug Baldwin and he ends up being the wide receiver one, somebody's got to catch the ball for Seattle. So 4,300 is just great value. Amendola, Miami, we'll see, how much of the passing game he's involved in. It's intriguing at 4,200, but I just don't like that spot. DJ Moore, someone to watch with Carolina. He's had some explosive plays. Coleman, I'm interested in Buffalo. If Josh Allen's starting, he can launch that ball to him. He could get a big touchdown, smash value pretty quick. Not so much on D.D. Westbrook. He is getting a lot of work on the outside, but I think my favorite Jacksonville receiver will be coming up here in a second. John Ross, Cincinnati, 3,900, dirt cheap, something to look at. Ryan Grant, he's getting a lot of work there. Maybe as a wide receiver too, 3,900. Pair him with Andrew Luck, that's an incredible stat. Real cheap. And let's see who else we got. Richardson, Washington. Let's see what his role ends up being. If he ends up being a starter, definitely worth it. 3,900. Keelan Cole, though, one of my favorite plays. He's going to end up being heavily involved in this passing game. Jacksonville, he had one game where he just went completely off the end of last year. So 3,800, really, really cheap. Kenny Britt, let's just see where that depth chart works out in New England. And Tavon Austin, Dallas loves using him for whatever reason. And Tavon Austin is one of those guys nobody plays in tournaments. So it's something to look at because, well, I've seen Tavon Austin. If I wonder if they're going to use him in the return game. I have to look at that. And they want to use him all these different ways. Tavon Austin could smash value and win you a tournament. John Brown, Baltimore, way too cheap if he's healthy. Way, way, way too cheap. So a lot of value at wide receiver I'm seeing already. Cortland Sutton's having a good camp for Denver. I just think that Sanders and Thomas take most of that action there. Regardless, there may be some people that open up down here as far as value, but I'm just not quite seeing it yet. That's pretty much it for receiver. Later, everybody.